Good morning. Welcome back to another episode here on Crime Vlog Weekly. If this is your first time, you are welcome. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button. Help us to grow on the YouTube network. Okay, my name is Hartley, all the way from London, UK. Yes, that's where I am, central London. And another story here for you. This one is P. Diddy accused again of SA.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as it seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in.
Another episode right here on Crime Vlog Weekly. This one is between Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith and P. Diddy, better known as Sean Combs. So much things happening to him these days.
A huge win for a Michigan inmate in his legal battle against disgraced hip-hop producer and rapper Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs has denied any wrongdoing. He denies all accusations. As they say, you are innocent until proven guilty. Is it going to happen? Is he ever going to get there? There seems to be lots brewing up. Special investigations going on by the FBI. We'll see if it will catch up with him sooner or later. Justice is slow, very, very slow, especially here in the US. But once it comes together, very difficult to get out of it.
Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, an inmate at Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility who is serving multiple life sentences, accused the disgraced mogul of drugging and raping him at a party in 1997. Cardello-Smith says in 97 he was a bartender at a Detroit area restaurant when he met Diddy and was invited to a gathering at the Holiday Inn where Combs would be partying. He alleges that he participated in group sex with several women and Diddy, but when Diddy showed interest in him, he got up and sat on the couch. According to the complaint, when Cardello-Smith went to get another drink, Combs handed him a drink, thought to be a glass of Jim Beam. But when he sat down in the other room and drank more, he began to get drowsy and started to pass out. Combs allegedly said to him, "I added a little something to it for you." And then Cardello-Smith passed out.
My man, I heard about it. I even watched the whole interview that they had. Derrick Lee claims that in 1997, Diddy raped him. I know he raped a grown ass man. Yeah, he was a bartender. He said, and I don't want people to think that I think that's funny, but the shit is funny. He said it's sad. He said that he was invited to a party and it was girls there, it was guys there. Things got freaky. You understand? He's a bartender. He said that he was drinking Jim Beam and Diddy brought him a drink over. And then Diddy told him, I put a little something extra in there. And he said, I'm sorry, man. He said he woke up. No, he didn't say, no, he didn't say that, bro. But he said he woke up and Diddy told him he had him. He said he went, he filed a report, but they threw it up under the cops swept it up under the rug and everything like that. So he was suing Diddy and everything like that. So he said that Diddy came to the jail and said that, hey, I'll give you $2.3 million or something like that, or 23. I don't know if it's 2.3 or $23 million to make this go away. We'll leave this alone the whole 9 yards. Just like I just said, he's trying to pay people off to make things go away, for them to drop their suits and everything like that. You know what I mean? And if he does that, they civil suit. Drop them, make them go away. What would it take? So this particular dude said that Diddy was trying to sell properties and sell things and stop him getting his money, and I didn't understand that. But the judge found some validity in what he was saying and said, yo, I'm gonna give you a 90-day restraining order against him from selling anything until you get all your paperwork in correct, because Diddy was served in the whole 9 yards. And as it was said that Diddy and his representative did come to the jail. So if the guy didn't have no lawsuit, if the guy wasn't, if his stuff wasn't truthful, why would they entertain it? The judge entertained it, Diddy lawyers them entertain it, and Diddy entertained it. So it may be some truth to it. But this dude is raping grown men. That's crazy.
Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, an inmate over there in Michigan. He's actually serving a life sentence, I should say. Definitely serving multiple life sentences. I'm not too sure how the 100 million is going to help him in jail, but I presume he's going to have a luxurious life in jail. He's been sentenced and convicted on SA. As you know, YouTube don't like certain words as the SEX directly. And I definitely don't want to be striked by YouTube, so I'm not going to say those words, but we can say Derrick Cardello-Smith has been sentenced, given life sentence, I should say, for SA. So I was saying regarding the money that he has been awarded, how is he going to use that money? I presume he owes the state thousands and thousands of pounds, as they normally put some sort of penalty on you when you're sent to jail. So I presume they might take some of that money back. But it might not just end there. He might not get even any money, because I'm sure Sean Diddy Combs is going to appeal against this decision by the judge. So far, he's claimed he doesn't even know this man, Cardello-Smith. Cardello-Smith reckons that Sean Diddy Combs actually came to the jail in Michigan and offered him $2.3 million to keep quiet. Obviously, he refused that. Then I think the lawyer of Sean Diddy Combs, he tried, offered around the same or a little bit more. It was also refused by Cardello-Smith. He continued with his court lawsuit. And as I said, now he has won. He has been awarded $100 million. And this money is to be paid by installments sometime in October 2024. I think it's $10 million per month. Further to that, Sean Diddy Combs is also blocked from selling, I think, any of his properties.
Combs allegedly said to him, "I added a little something to it for you." And then Cardello-Smith passed out. He claims when he woke up, Combs told him he had penetrated him while he was unconscious. Cardello-Smith says he ran into the bathroom and checked himself, noticing he was bleeding and in pain, and left the hotel and never went back. Cardello-Smith claims he filed a police report, then he shut down and knew he was never going to be able to tell anyone about what happened. In his complaint, Cardello-Smith alleges Combs paid off Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep the police report hidden for many decades. In August of 2024, Cardello-Smith made a stunning claim that Diddy came to the Michigan prison in person to offer him more than $2 million, essentially to keep him quiet and dismiss the lawsuit. On August 7th, while appearing virtually in front of a judge and while representing himself in the matter, the Michigan inmate filed a motion for a temporary restraining order against the disgraced producer.
This is in the matter of Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, MDOC number 267009, versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records label owner, founder, also known as Puff P. Daddy, Bad Boy, Diddy Run the City, Sean Combs, also known as Sean Puffy Combs. And this is file number 24-7362NO. I'll grab your paperwork here real quick out of this other paperwork. We do have Mr. Cardello-Smith appearing from the Michigan Department of Corrections. So I do see that we do have a proof of service on Mr. Combs, but for purposes of this hearing, you filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and or a preliminary injunction to stop all sales of the property and assets attached to or involved with said property based on the interest of plaintiff and plaintiff's connections to defendant's sexual assault of plaintiff Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, requiring a preliminary injunction and or a temporary restraining order. We did set that for hearing today, and luckily the Brooks Correctional Facility was able to make you available. Actually, they had to drive someone up today on another case. So, sir, I have received your motion and a proposed order. Do you wish to argue the motion today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed then.
Okay, the purpose of it is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here. We did a live one-on-one visit in our prison visiting room. There's two meetings within the past 2 weeks with Mr. Combs on one meeting, and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what happened to me to go away. And he stated that he's going to be selling his property, and under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881-2885, the creation of liens, which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. And he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stopped. And I said, so you want to hide you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah. He goes, you know how we get down. And I said, okay, well, I disagree with how you get down. Your sale shouldn't go through.
So I'm gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Cardello-Smith. Okay, so you went in a different direction that I thought you were going into. I thought we were just going to focus. No.
We are.
You kind of went off on a different direction than what your actual motion was.
Yeah.
So what I just want to say is settlement negotiations.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
In this case, they're probably better not. Yeah, they're not to be placed on the record today. Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. You're not an attorney. I understand that. So if we can just backtrack and focus just on your motion.
I get what you want.
Okay, thank you.
The motion stems from Combs listing his Los Angeles mansion, the same home raided by the feds in March. According to Cardello-Smith, he wanted to prevent the sale of the mansion because it would deprive him of any monetary judgment if the civil matter went to a jury trial.
If he's allowed to sell his property that he has in LA and the properties that are in his name being used and held by other people in Michigan, then it will cause me harm because I can be tied directly to those properties through loans and through other areas of investment that I did when I was out there and while in prison through money that I've sent. And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him. as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid his responsibility in these matters here. That's what a temporary restraining order would do. It would prevent that from happening. Because it's a very serious matter. It involves a lot of money. And him selling this would help him avoid his liability for these actions done upon me. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to get the restraining order to prevent that. There won't be any harm to him, any of the parties. There won't be any harm to him in any way. And if it's deemed that it's not justified, then he can go ahead and go through with the sale at the end of the case. But one has to be put in place to stop this from happening.
The judge then stepped off the bench for a few moments to review Cardello-Smith's documents. When she returned, she granted the temporary restraining order. So,
thank you, sir. Is there anything else you wish to add?
First off, just thank you for giving me the hearing and thank you for setting a pretrial on this matter. Thank you, Your Honor. There were some other filings that you should have gotten. I didn't know if that's one of the filings you could have been referring to.
So I received your complaint and all the attachments to it. And then I received this motion. And I just wanted to take a moment to review back through the U.S. District Civil Docket and your complaint. So I did do that. That's all. And
yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a proof of service showing that Mr. Combs was served on July 6th of 2000 and let me see, is that 24?
Yes, yeah.
Looks like it. 2024 return receipt requested was provided. So there is proper service. Mr. Combs has neither appeared nor responded to this request. So I'm going to grant your motion for a preliminary injunction temporary restraining order and order that the defendant and their agents are hereby enjoined temporarily for a period of 90 days on the sale, transfer, or exchange, trade, or transaction of title or deed to the property listed as the address and placed on the market by defendants for the amount of $70 million. And this property and estate belonging to or connected to defendant Sean Combs shall cease and desist any and all trades, transactions, or otherwise stop the process of any further actions on this property being continued. And this shall have an immediate effect. I'm going to date this August 7th of 2024. And I am going to sign this. And we are set for a pretrial date on Monday, September 9th of 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Is there anything else? Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor. First off, thank you very much, ma'am. The second thing is under the summons rules and the court rules of service, Mr. Combs, the defendant, had 28 days after he was served by mail, 21 if it's regular process service. His 28th day was the August 3rd, and there was no answer on the default. And I understand that I have to motion verbally or in writing, whichever one you prefer however you prefer, to have default judgment entered. And today is literally the 32nd day, I believe. And I'd like to either preserve the issue of default judgment or judgment in my favor based on failure to answer.
Okay.
Whichever Your Honor would like.
All right, thank you. Typically, we require that. Ms. McGrain.
How would you spell her name, Your Honor?
Oh, no, hold on, I'm talking to my judicial attorney. Typically, we require the, motion for the affidavit and motion for default be filed. So Miss Adams, is Miss McGrain in her office?
She is not. I'm going to go find her right now, Judge.
Okay.
I know,
Hold
I
on.
read that rule. I read the rule, Your Honor. MCR 2.603 governs that. And it said the party can do it in front of the trial court judge or
Yeah.
by mail. Whatever you want.
So, sir, the court rule that you're referring to, it's not a trial date, so I think I'm right. So you're gonna have to file the affidavit and request for default, okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
And, obviously you'll be able to file that before a pretrial date anyway, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so
All
the
right,
order
so-
was granted?
The order, your ex parte motion was granted, or your motion for a temporary restraining order was granted. I've signed it. And so we'll get that processed and back to you, and then you'll have to obviously serve that on the parties.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can your order
All right.
say any, Your Honor, can you add on your order any Michigan representatives of him acting on his behalf for Michigan properties as well as part of that order? Or does your order cover everything?
You provided the order, so I'm going off.
Yes,
the
I did.
order.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'm going off the order you provided to me, and I've signed
Okay,
that order
that's-
already.
That's what I
Okay.
needed. Thank you. All right,
All
thank
right,
you, Your Honor.
thank you, Mr. Cardello-Smith, and we'll make sure the writ's done, and we'll see you back in September. Thank you.
Then, in another stunning turn of events, on September 9th, the same judge awarded Cardello-Smith a $100 million default judgment against Combs. The judgment was awarded to Cardello-Smith because Combs failed to formally respond to the summons or failed to appear in court. The judge reportedly set a payment schedule of $10 million per month, beginning on October 1st. I want to bring on now a great guest to discuss this case, and that's attorney Safa Robinson. Safa, thank you so much for joining me today. This judgment is very surprising, to say the least. $100 million, the judge ordering the payments to begin on October 1st, $10 million a month. What's your reaction to this judgment, and are you surprised it was even granted?
You know, the judgment is pretty surprising. I will say that this was as a result of what we call a default judgment, essentially saying that Diddy and his team did not respond to the allegations, and judgment was granted to the plaintiff in this particular case. I do find it interesting that they had not responded, and I don't know if it's a strategical decision because there is a criminal component to it, or if there was just some sort of lapse in response time or whatever that may have been. So that is a little surprising on that end. With respect to the actual amount, $100 million, while that is a large amount of, considering the nature of the allegations that have been put forward against Mr. Combs, you know, and the egregious nature of these allegations, I think that while the amount is large and it is surprising to some extent, it's not all that surprising considering that, you know, there's a punitive damage aspect to this.
And through an attorney, Diddy denied even meeting Cardello-Smith. But according to Cardello-Smith, the two met in the Michigan prison. He says he even has visitor records to prove it. Do you think it's possible Diddy and his legal team just didn't take this seriously, given he's an inmate and given that he's also representing himself in the matter?
That is certainly a possibility, but I think, you know, for attorneys, most of us, we will act in the abundance of caution. The lawsuit was filed, and so it would have been appropriate to respond, or it should not have been a surprise, and it should have been taken seriously. And I'm sure that they do take it serious to the extent that they can. You know, I know that there are a lot of lawsuits that are popping up across the country with respect to Mr. Combs, and it's a little hard to differentiate what may actually be truthful and factual versus what could be, you know, just deployed to gain for some sort of financial gain, which I know in this case, there is a question. You know, the plaintiff in this case has been extremely litigious previously, and this is not the first time that they've sued while incarcerated. So there could be some question with regard to that, but there appeared to be records that are jail records that would have reflected Mr. Combs' visit to the facility, if in fact that did occur.
And from my understanding, he's serving a life sentence in prison. So it's given that, is it one, possible that he still could see that money? And two, is it possible the judgment could just get dismissed altogether?
You know, in terms of whether or not he'll actually see that money, there's going to be a question there. Like I said, that there are mechanisms that can be set in place so that he can receive that financial compensation. Just because an individual is incarcerated doesn't mean that they're banned from filing lawsuits or receiving judgments or financial payouts and things of that nature. How that will take place, I can't really say for certain. I think you indicated that he is doing a life sentence. So, what that would mean if he has any other judgments that are against him or creditors that may want to take his financial gain based off of this will also be a question.
And according to reports, Diddy listed his Beverly Hills mansion, that same one at the center of this suit, and the same one that was raided by Homeland Security back in March. And then the home was apparently listed this week. He's been trying to list that home since the summer, and he's listed the home for a reported $70 million, which is millions above how much he paid for the home when he had purchased it initially. Do you think that money will be used to go toward the judgment? Or do you think it'll go toward lawyers? What are your thoughts on just the fact that Diddy is selling the home kind of at the center of this restraining order as well, too?
Well, that's the interesting part here. And so what the plaintiff in this case did was filed for what we call a temporary restraining order, which would have prevented Diddy, or would prevent him from selling that Los Angeles home. And so we know, or at least we believe, that that TRO was granted to enjoin or stop him from selling that home. And so ultimately, if that were the case, then there's going to be an issue with the actual sale of the home. Those proceeds from the home essentially would be a part of the proceeds that need to be paid for the plaintiff in this case. But that's really what the issue is here, is, whether or not he can actually go forward and sell the home if he's been enjoined. And the reason for the temporary restraining order in this case is to prevent him from selling off assets that would compensate the plaintiff.
And many of us know that Diddy faces several other lawsuits stemming from similar allegations, just like Cardello-Smith's allegations, drugging at a party and sexual assault or rape. Well, at this time, no criminal charges have been filed against Diddy, and he has not been arrested. What does that signal to you as far as a pattern goes?
Well, one of the things that's going to happen, and I do believe that there has been a grand jury investigation that has been employed in this case. I think there may be a federal investigation going on, and there may be a stateside one, but I'm not totally sure. But one of the things that the prosecution in any case is going to try to do is show that there is a pattern of behavior here. Now, as a defense attorney, we don't want that information coming in, and we don't want that to be the theory of the prosecutor's case, that just because he may have done it on one occasion means that he had done it on a second occasion. And so those are the things that we argue against, but certainly the prosecution is going to want to show that there is a pattern of behavior here. And with respect to a RICO prosecution, what the government is essentially going to be trying to do is take individuals who have been allegedly impacted by Mr. Combs' behavior and those patterns of that behavior, putting them into grand jury to bring about an indictment.
And Diddy has denied any type of wrongdoing in terms of the many civil suits he faces for sexual misconduct. But we all saw the Cassie Hotel surveillance video and the subsequent apology video that followed. Do you think, even though Cardello-Smith, who doesn't have the cleanest record in the slightest, that his claims might hold weight against Diddy?
That is certainly a possibility. I think that Mr. Cardello, his credibility is certainly going to be vetted. We know that he is very litigious. We know that he himself is incarcerated for sexual related offenses. And so is this just a matter of him actually being a victim of this crime? Or is this something that he has respectfully concocted because it seems to be that, anybody can make an allegation against Mr. Combs and it's taken as factual by the public. So that's going to be the thing here that we're going to need to be careful of and pay attention to.
And it's been pretty quiet as far as any word about the details of the reported federal investigation or any potential indictment. But do you think it's possible Diddy won't be charged criminally, or do you think that an indictment still looms for him?
An indictment absolutely still looms for Mr. Combs. I think that there has been such a large response to the allegations in Ms. Ventura's case, and now in all of these other subsequent cases, that you can't unsee, you can't unsee it. So once it's out there, it's there. It is the government's responsibility to investigate these claims or these alleged claims. And I think that there has been so much attention that's been placed on this that to let this go quietly in the night it would be nearly impossible for the government to allow that to happen unless they are statutorily bound or there is some other reason that they can't go or proceed forward.
In terms of the alleged victims in this case, what do you think this message sends to them as far as, Diddy hasn't been charged criminally, he hasn't been indicted, but given all the allegations, the mounting lawsuits, but Diddy seems to be doing just fine in terms of, previously we've seen him whitewater rafting, previously he's riding his bike out in South Beach, Miami. I've read reports that he's been visiting up Harlem here in New York City. What are your thoughts about Diddy's demeanor, given all the lawsuits he's faced? He's fallen from grace, definitely. But what do you think that message sends to the alleged victims in this case, as far as them wanting to seek justice against their alleged perpetrator?
It can certainly be frustrating for alleged victims in this case because they want some sort of justice. They want some sort of resolve. And we also know that there isn't one allegation by one individual, but there are multiple allegations by multiple individuals. And so eventually, the plaintiffs, they're going to want to see some level of justice and retribution in this case. And to see Mr. Combs going about his daily business, as business as usual, can be certainly frustrating for alleged victims. However, one of the things I always tell people is the criminal justice system is the slowest moving system probably known to man at this point. And so while that may be the case now that he is out of custody, there haven't been charges filed or anything of that nature, that does not mean that, there won't be some sort of justice in the long run. Doesn't mean that he won't be found guilty or responsible for something later down the line. It just honestly takes time.
Do you think he should get this money? 100 million? He's been accused of SA himself. Let me know which way you're thinking. Drop it in the comments below. Do you think he should be getting this money, the awarded money, I should say, from the courts? 100 million. And he's actually in jail for life for similar charges as, or shall I say, accusations of similar charges, same as P. Diddy, Sean Combs. Let me know which way you're thinking. Should he get that money? Cardello-Smith alleges that he met P. Diddy at an after party at a Detroit hotel back in June 1997. Court documents reported that Smith drank with P. Diddy and female guests. He later joined the mogul and two women in a private hotel room. According to Cardello-Smith, he claimed he had sex with a woman when he felt Diddy's touch. Let's repeat that one again. According to Cardello-Smith, he claimed he had sex with a woman. I'm not sure if I should use that word. He claimed he had sex with a woman when he felt Diddy's touch his butt. Shall I read that again? No. Moments later, the rapper and producer offered Cardello-Smith a drink, which he alleged was spiked, and he had passed out. The man claimed that he awakened hours later and saw Diddy having sex with a woman. It's all mounting up for P. Diddy. Okay, guys, if you do have any comments regarding this particular video, please drop it below. And don't forget to subscribe. Well, that's it of this particular episode of Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith against P. Diddy. Inmate awarded 100 million for the first time ever behind bars, and he's a multi-millionaire. Although we think P. Diddy will fight against it, but that's how it stands at the moment. P. Diddy ordered to pay 10 million per month until the 100 million is cleared up. What an award. Okay, well, that's it from me, Hartley, all the way here in London, UK, miles away from, thousands of miles away from Michigan and California. Once again, if you do have any comments, please drop it below. subscribe, like this video, and share this video with your friends and family. Help us to expand right across the YouTube network. Well, until the next video, thank you very much. Be good, stay safe, don't get yourself in trouble, especially these type of troubles that P. Diddy and others are in. Speak to you guys soon. Bye-bye.